Howard, and welcome to this short video. And in this video, I wanted to explore the research evidence part of integrative medicine approaches. One of the criticisms that's often put towards some of the more innovative approaches that organizations such as OHC use is people will say, well, there's no evidence for that. And for certain things that we do, that's true. If you look at the scientific literature, there is no evidence for certain things that we do. The point we always want to make, though, is lack of evidence does not necessarily mean that something's been disproved. It's a very different scenario. If research has been done into something and the research has found something not to be effective, that means something's been effectively disproven. That's not the same as there being no research in the first place. And to understand this, we have to backtrack a little bit to understand how research happens. The majority of medical research that happens globally, really, and certainly in this country, and certainly in America, for example, tends to be funded by pharmaceutical companies. And it's funded by pharmaceutical companies looking to find effective treatments to deal with certain conditions, certain diseases or disorders or whatever. And that therefore drives, they have a problem to solve, and if they can find the evidence, they can then sell a treatment, sell a drug. When you have treatments which are perhaps don't have that immediate lending towards a drug, for example, there tends to be much less funding available. Now, there are other forms of funding, but they're very competitive, and it's not easy to get access to. And as you may well know, one of the things that we're very passionate about here at the Optimum Health Clinic is building the evidence base behind the treatments that we offer. That's why we put together our original study published in the BMJ Open back in 2012. And that's why our whole mission statement at this point in time is towards doing a full randomized controlled trial to build the evidence base behind what we do. But as I say, this idea that something is not evidence-based or something is not proven doesn't mean it's disproven. What it means is the research hasn't yet been done. And that's often more an issue of getting access to funding for research and going through the number of years that it takes to do research. It's also worth just going back to what drives research questions. You see, you can have research questions driven by a more hypothetical perspective, sat there with kind of researchers kind of asking various kind of questions, but you can also have research driven by clinicians, by people actually there day in, day out, working with people, exploring certain things, finding certain things to be effective, and then that driving research questions. And that's very much the way that we're working. And what that often means is what people are doing clinically can be a number of years ahead of what the evidence base has found, because you find things, you innovate things, and then the research is done to show that to be effective. And that can take years, literally years, and sometimes decades for that process to happen. So we're certainly here at the Optimum Health Clinic not into making claims for things that we do that are not yet evidence-based. The point we would always make, though, is we're often working to collect the evidence for what we're doing. And in the meantime, it comes down to what's the best clinical judgment in dialogue with the patient of what we think is most likely to be able to help someone and be effective.